On the show today, the latest on the story that shook the Mavericks world last night, with Mark Cuban potentially interested in buying back the Dallas Mavericks less than 3 years after he sold to the Dumonts and the Adelsons. And could Cooper Flagg actually be an all-star in his rookie season? It's not as far-fetched as you might think. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Jeffrey Cooperstein here with you guys. And in case you missed it yesterday, Mark Stein put out this report right around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon that an unidentified Dallas investor group is interested in partnering with Mark Cuban to buy the Mavericks back. However, Stein did add this, that the family remains excited about the future of the franchise and the Cooper Flagg era, a source close to Dumont told him. So it was an extremely interesting development yesterday that this came out, and we did a full breaking news video on that on the channel. So if you see this thumbnail right here on your screen, you can go watch that and go back on our channel and see what I had to say about the breaking news. But on the surface, I think it's very, very interesting that this report comes out now. And my kind of thinking is, yeah, if this report's coming out, that means there are some real legs to it. And we will, of course, have you up to date with everything surrounding this story. And if Mark Cuban ends up buying back the Dallas Mavericks, you'll be the first to know right here on the channel. And it kind of got me thinking over the last day or so, why would Cuban want to buy the team back? Well, I think there's a multitude of reasons, but there are two main reasons why I think this would happen. Number one, I think Cuban has seller's remorse. I think he regrets selling the team in general, and I specifically think he regrets selling the team to the Adelsons and Patrick Dumont. I mean, we've obviously seen over the last few years, they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to running a basketball team. Are they great business people? There is no doubt about that, considering, I mean, look at all of their net worths and look at how big of a company Sands Corp is. So, of course, they know what they're doing on the business side. But when it comes to running a basketball, when it comes to running a people organization, they don't know. And Mark Cuban found out the hard way via the Luka Doncic trade. And I think over the past year, Cuban has been pissed in what he's seen from this team. This is his baby. The Mavericks are what he is most passionate about. And as I tweeted earlier yesterday evening, he cares about the Mavericks. Say what you will about his shortcomings as a front office basketball operations guy. At the end of the day, he cares. He wants the best for this franchise, and the best for this franchise has not occurred over the last year or so. And I think Mark sees that, realizes that, and he wants back in to try to right the ship. I cannot help but think the disillusionment with what has happened over the last year, with everything that's happened over the last year, is a major factor at play as to why Cuban is interested in regaining his majority control of the Dallas Mavericks. This is an extremely fascinating story, and I'm sure that we have not heard the end of it. I think this will be something that is hanging over the Mavericks for the next year, year and a half, maybe even 2 years, until a sale eventually goes through. Again, I want you guys to keep in mind Sunday, March 1st. That is an important date. Why is that an important date? That is when Patrick Dumont becomes the full-time CEO of Sands Corp. Now, in that story that Mark Stein wrote, he did report that him becoming the CEO will not drastically change his duties as Mavericks governor. I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, of course, but there is no way that this story combined with the date of him becoming the CEO is a coincidence. I just simply will not buy that. But of course, time will tell. And wow, what a story we have here on our hands. Something I certainly did not see coming here at minimum the last couple of years or so. Absolutely nuts. But I want you guys to sound off for me down in the comment section. Do you want Mark Cuban to buy back the Mavericks? I can see reasons why people would not want Mark to buy them back. I would love it. I think it would be great for the franchise because I think he would try to do the right thing and get this franchise back on track. Y for yes, N for no. That'll be the pinned comment on today's show, so you'll see it over at the top of the comment section. So go on down there and get your votes in. I think I do have a caveat, though. As long as Mark Cuban hires a real general manager and allows that general manager to do his job, I am all in on Cuban rebuying the Dallas Mavericks. I think at the end of the day, Cuban wanted to be the judge, jury, and executioner in the basketball operations department. And Donnie Nelson, again, you can say what you will about Donnie. Donnie was good at his job. He was not allowed to do his job at certain times. You can talk about the drafting Shane Larkin over Giannis. You can talk about the keeping the powder dry for DeAndre Jordan and then him reneging on his commitment. Like, there are multiple times where Donnie Nelson was not allowed to do his job to his fullest abilities because Mark Cuban had a different vision, and that ultimately created a falling out, and it ultimately created Donnie Nelson getting fired, which ultimately created Rick Carlisle leaving the organization, which ultimately created the hiring of Nico Harrison. So there was certainly a domino effect there when it comes to Mark Cuban. As long as he hires a general manager and lets that GM do his job, I think this thing could really work. There's also another reason why I think Mark Cuban is interested in buying the Mavericks. It's on your screen right here. What does that say in 28-29? Yeah, that's a player option. And if you don't think that Mr. Luka Doncic is eyeing what's going on in Dallas, I think you are sorely mistaken. If he declines that player option and becomes a free agent in 2028, there are all eyes on the Dallas Mavericks and all eyes on Luka Doncic and what he is going to do. There is no secret that the Mavericks love Luka. There is no secret that Luka loves the Mavericks. And I'm not saying it's a sure thing that he is coming back, but you are sorely mistaken if you don't think Mark Cuban is going to try to get him back home. I think that is one of the main reasons that Cuban would want to buy the team back. Cuban still has a great relationship with Luka and his father. In the last game, the Mavericks played against the Lakers here at the AAC back in January. Luka gave Cuban a big hug there on the floor after the game. They were smiling and laughing. This is something to absolutely monitor if this sale indeed does go through and Cuban becomes the controlling interest in the Mavericks once again. Just keep an eye on it. All eyes are on June of 2028. And imagine 29-year-old Luka playing with 22-year-old Cooper Flagg. Chef's kiss. I'm getting myself worked up about it, even though the chances of it are unlikely. And yeah, the Mavericks do play the Lakers on Thursday, by the way. So maybe just in the back of your mind, just look at how Luka is interacting with Mark Cuban if he's there. And just keep that one in your back pocket. Maybe something could come of that. The Mavericks do play tonight, by the way, against the Phoenix Suns. And of course, if anything happens there, we'll have you updated. But on the back end of today's show, we are going to talk about Cooper Flagg and if he should be named an injury replacement for the 2026 NBA All-Star Game. But before we do, today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. Football season, it's over. Yeah, but basketball season, you got baseball season coming up, hockey season in full swing. Make sure you shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Every dunk, every dime, and every board becomes that much more exciting. So don't miss out on the chance to get started on America's #1 sports app for picks. You can play PrizePicks in all 50 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, and Cash App for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. They also offer early payouts, so if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. My entry for the basketball action tonight, I'm going to take the less on OG Anunoby points. I'm also going to take the more on Cooper Flagg points plus rebounds and the more on Victor Wembanyama dunks. You can copy those picks over on the social feeds feature, or you can fade my picks over at PrizePicks. Just download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. One more time, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. All right, so let's talk about it. Could Cooper Flagg potentially be an NBA All-Star? And I do think that there is a glimmer of hope, maybe not a big percentage chance, but a glimmer of hope nonetheless, that he could end up being named as an injury replacement. Steph Curry yesterday, according to Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, was ruled out of the 2026 NBA All-Star Game and in their final 2 games before the break with a knee injury. And if you don't know, the All-Star Game this year is the USA versus World format. So the All-Star that replaces Curry would have to be an American-born player. And who better than the rookie in Cooper Flagg? I absolutely think Flagg deserves to be an All-Star in his rookie season. It is one of the best rookie seasons, frankly, that we've ever seen. He has been playing unbelievable basketball, especially as of late, really in the last month, 6 weeks or so. He's been incredible. I mean, you're looking at these stats for a rookie. Imagine what he's going to do in year 4 or year 5. 20.2 points per game, 6.5 boards, over 4 assists, which is something that I thought Flagg would take a while to really develop is his playmaking, but he's still making a lot of plays for his size and his position. Shooting an efficient 48.4% from the field. Now, you would like his three-point percentage to be up a little bit. He's hovering right around 31% there, but he's also averaging over a steal a game and about a block a game as well to combine for exactly 2 stocks per game. I mean, it's a fantastic rookie season, and I would absolutely, I'm biased, of course, but I believe he deserves to get the All-Star nod. But at the end of the day, I don't think they give it to him. I think it ends up in Austin Reeves' hands. The game is being played at Inglewood in the new Intuit Dome, the home of the Los Angeles Clippers. And the All-Star weekend is going to be all around. They're going to have it at crypto.com. I think they're going to have it at some other places as well. So I would imagine Austin Reeves ends up getting the nod with the game being in SoCal. But I would love to see Cooper Flagg there. He's already been named to the Rising Stars game, so he's going to play in that. It'd be really cool to see him play in the All-Star game as well. Excuse me, in a new format that we haven't seen. I'm curious to see how this USA versus World thing works out. But support our guy down in the comment section. If you think Cooper Flagg should be Curry's all-star replacement, go ahead and spam those 32s down there in the comment section. I would really love to see it, but maybe we'll have to wait until year 2 to see Flagg at All-Star Weekend. All right, y'all, that will do it for today's show. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button because we'll have you covered. Man, this Mavs and Mark Cuban story, absolutely fascinating, and stay tuned to the channel because we'll have every detail covered for you.